Good evening. In the end, it is not the years in your life that count, it is the life in your ears. Welcome to BMC News Live in English, brought to you by Al Hilal Hospital and Medical Centers. I am Vinod Narayanan, joining you with the daily news updates. Today's headlines. Registration for the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccination to begin for children aged 5 to 11. Kuwait issues new entry procedures for Bahrainis. LMRA conducted inspection campaigns in Muharraq. India's scheduled international flight ban will continue until February 28th. Expat fee pushes more than 1 million foreigners out of employment in Saudi. News in detail. Registration for the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccination to begin for children aged 5 to 11. The Ministry of Health today announced the opening of registration for the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine for children aged 5 to 11 starting from Wednesday, 19th January. This coincides with the arrival of the first shipment of vaccines specified for this age group. The ministry stressed the importance of vaccination, particularly for children, to protect them, their families and the community. The Ministry of Health urged all parents who wish to vaccinate their children to register them via the Be Aware app or the ministry's website, healthalert.government.bh. The ministry noted that the vaccine will be administered at the vaccination center at Citramal. Registration for the vaccine requires the consent of a legal guardian. The children must also be accompanied by an adult when receiving their vaccination. Kuwait issues new entry procedures for Bahrainis. Bahrain's embassy in Kuwait issued the following notice to Bahraini citizens wishing to visit the state of Kuwait regarding the updated entry procedures. The embassy of Bahrain in the state of Kuwait would like to inform Bahraini citizens wishing to visit the brotherly state of Kuwait that the procedures of entry have been updated, as it has been decided to reduce the period of home quarantine upon entry through air and land ports for vaccinated individuals to 7 days, with the possibility of exiting the quarantine after conducting a PCR test and getting a negative result inside the state of Kuwait starting from January 18th, 2022. Mosque closed for 1 week in Capital Governorate. The Ministry of Justice, Islamic Affairs and Endowments has closed a mosque in the Capital Governorate for 1 week after detecting a positive novel coronavirus case among worshippers. The measure was taken as part of continuous follow-up of the National Medical Team for combating the coronavirus to fight the disease. The ministry said the time will be used by the relevant teams to carry out the process of tracing contacts, sanitize the premises and ensure that all precautionary measures are taken. The ministry warned that it would follow up on the implementation of the mandatory measures at mosques and intensify inspections to protect worshippers' health and safety. His Majesty issues Decree 3rd of 2022 transferring SEA tasks and powers to the Ministry of Electricity and Water Affairs. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa has today issued Decree 3 of 2022 transferring the tasks and powers of the Sustainable Energy Authority SEA to the Ministry of Electricity and Water Affairs. The decree stipulates the following. Article 1. The Ministry of Electricity and Water Affairs undertakes all the competencies, tasks and powers entrusted to the Sustainable Energy Authority SEA and stipulated in the laws, regulations, ethics and regulations in force in the Kingdom. Article 2. All the SEA appropriations listed in the state's general budget and all its rights and obligations shall be transferred to the Ministry of Electricity and Water Affairs, and the SEA employees shall be transferred to the ministry with the same rights and job benefits in accordance with the organization of the ministry. Article 3. Any text that contradicts the provisions of this decree shall be repealed. Article 4. The Prime Minister and the Ministers, each within his jurisdiction, shall implement the provisions of this decree, which shall come into force on February 1st, 2022 and shall be published in the official gazette. LMRA conducted inspection campaigns in Muharraq. The Labour Market Regulatory Authority, represented in the law enforcement sector, carried out an inspection campaign in the Muharraq Governorate in collaboration with the Nationality Passports and Residence Affairs (NPRA) of the Ministry of Interior and the Muharraq Governorate. Housing Ministry distributes additional housing units in East Sitra, Salman City and Al Ausi. The Housing Ministry distributed 20,000 more housing units in East Sitra, Salman City and Al Ausi. This came in an implementation of the Royal Directives of distributing 40,000 housing units and the order of His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, to distribute an additional 2,000 housing units. The Ministry continued housing distributions to eligible citizens from the various governorates of the kingdom at an accelerated pace of work. It affirmed the integration of the action plan with regard to establishing new cities and projects for citizens to benefit from within the aim to achieve the economic recovery plan. Bahrain attends ambassadors meeting in Brussels. Bahrain's ambassador to Brussels, Abdullah bin Faisal bin Jaber Al Dosari, participated in the online meeting of the Council of Arab Ambassadors in the Kingdom of Belgium. The virtual meeting was chaired by the ambassador of the Republic of Yemen, Mohammed Ahmed Mustafa, and in the presence of the head of the Arab League mission in Brussels, Ambassador Abdul Hamid Sahani. The meeting discussed a number of topics and issues on the Council's agenda, the efforts of the League of Arab States, and the most prominent regional and international developments. Today's COVID updates. COVID updates brought to you by Al Hilal Hospital and Medical Centers. India's scheduled international flight ban will continue until February 28th. India's Directorate General of Civil Aviation (DGCA) has decided to extend the suspension of scheduled international commercial passenger services to and from India till February 28, 2022. The restriction shall not apply to international air cargo operations and flights specially approved by DGCA. Further, flights under air bubble arrangement will not be affected, the DGCA said. Now we will be back after a very short break.
All your favorite products under one roof in Bahrain at 27-year-old Megamart and Macromart. Bakery, fresh meat and fish, fruits and vegetables, sweets and snacks, ready-to-eat foods, dairy products, grocery or consumer goods. To have a wonderful shopping experience, please visit your nearest Megamart Macromart branch. Megamart and Macromart, full of goodness.
Welcome back. Expat fee pushes more than 1 million foreigners out of employment in Saudi. A total of 1.05 million male and female foreign workers left the Saudi employment market during a period of 45 months starting from the beginning of 2018 until the end of third quarter of 2021. This figure represents 10.12% of the total foreign workers. The mass exit of foreigners was attributed mainly to the imposition of expat fee that started during the year 2018. The monthly amount of expat fee was Saudi Riyal 400 per employee during the year 2018, and it rose to Saudi Riyal 600 in 2019 and Saudi Riyal 800 since 2020. 29 days left to correct Tasatur violations in Saudi. The national program to combat commercial concealment called Tasatur under the Ministry of Commerce urged all commercial establishments and businesses to quickly submit requests for correction during the remaining 29 days of the corrective period that expires on February. The program clarified that there are 6 correction options specified in the regulations of the anti-concealment law. These include partnership between Saudi and non-Saudi in the firm, registration of the firm in the name of a non-Saudi, the Saudi continuing to engage in economic activity by introducing a new partner in the firm, Saudi's disposal of the firm, the non-Saudi obtaining the premium residency, and the non-Saudi's permanent departure from the kingdom. Immunization status to be updated in February on Tawakalana in Saudi. The Ministry of Health announced that starting from February 1st, 2022, the immunization status will be updated in the Tawakalana app. 8 months after receiving the second dose, the immunization status will not change if the period of receiving the second dose is less than 8 months. The immune status on the app is mandatory for all individuals 18 years of age and older who wish to attend any social, economic, commercial, cultural, scientific, entertainment or sporting event in the country. Russia shortens COVID-19 isolation to 7 days as cases surge. Russian authorities are shortening the required isolation period for people infected with COVID-19 from 14 to 7 days as the country faces another surge of COVID-19 cases, this time driven by the highly contagious Omicron variant. Deputy Prime Minister Tatiana Golikova, who runs the country's coronavirus task force, said Tuesday that health officials were optimizing our approaches to quarantine and testing of our citizens, including shortening the quarantine period to 7 days. Mild cases still lead to attention and memory issues. People with mild COVID-19 who do not suffer any other traditional long COVID symptoms can still exhibit deteriorated attention and memory 6 to 9 months after infection, a study by Britain's Oxford University has found. Cognitive issues impacting concentration levels, along with forgetfulness and fatigue, are features of long COVID, a condition that afflicts some after an initial bout of infection, but it has not been established how widespread issues with attention span might be following COVID-19 infection. Music's Grammy Awards moved to April 3rd in Las Vegas. The Grammy Awards ceremony honoring top performances in music has been rescheduled for April 3rd in Las Vegas. The Recording Academy and broadcaster CBS said in a statement on Tuesday the awards had been set to take place in January 31st in downtown Los Angeles, but organizers scrapped that date as the Omicron variant sparked a new wave of COVID-19 infections, Reuters reported. With that, we come to the end of today's news. Stay tuned for daily news updates in BMC News Live English at 7:30 p.m. every day. I'm Vinod Narayanan signing off from BMC News Live. Good night.